See, Yanko. For me, I'm gonna be free. I see coming on. Oh, you know why? Because I can hear it in. Oh, this is gonna be interesting.
What's happening? We're live.
I've never heard that happen before. I can hear us. I'm gonna mute this. There we go.
Okay.
No, it's just I can hear it showing up on Instagram because it wasn't muted.
Oh, you got the feedback. Well, there you go. That's an expected way to start.
There
Hello,
you go.
people.
All right. So why are we here, Yanko?
We're here to no particular reason. We just show up every Friday and welcome. I am your host, Yanko, and this is my wonderful co-host, Kerri Lewis.
And we're here to
There
talk
you
about
go.
anything, everything, and anything in between. Occasionally we sing. Occasionally I say really off-color jokes, and all of it is just a good time. So I'm super excited to be here for episode 107. And for any of the listening audience, we love engagement. So please feel free to share with us your thoughts, your comments, any questions. We're happy to answer whatever comes up for you and go from there from our perspective. Because one thing Yanko and I are really big about is we've had individual experiences to get us to understand truth, right? But that may not be the truth for you, and that's completely okay. Our job is just, for me anyway, to give you a different perspective, to give yourself permission to open up your mind and experience something new, if you so choose. And if you don't, that's
that
cool too.
yeah, that's right. And maybe to give you a little bit of like out of the box thinking, or kind of like, oh, I never thought of it that way, kind of scenario. So
Well, I
there you
see
go.
Vivid
Thought provoking conversation.
Oblivion is watching from Instagram, and that is Nifa. And I am dying to get her to be on our show because she has a very unique perspectives on truth and experiencing this human play that we are in as well. So I look forward to being able to add her whenever she feels called to join us. And if not, that's cool too. Anywho, Yanko, I'm curious. Oh, we're being told to visit Uganda. Listen, that's on my bucket list, so I'm with it. I will definitely. I have a very good friend, Senyu, whose father, I believe, is a chief in one of the tribes in Uganda, and I'm very much looking forward to immerse myself into her community because that is just going to be all love. But anyway, Yanko, you got anything pressing you want to share with the listening audience?
Not really. More and more with every day, I just kind of go with the flow. Whatever comes up, I just kind of enjoy it or not enjoy it. And that's how it is. I don't have anything particular or anything that I thought ahead of time. Sometimes I do, but today it's not one of those days.
Well, something has been
So,
on my heart all week because it's been very prevalent in the conversations I have with individuals throughout the week is this idea of abandoning ourselves for what's familiar. And what I mean by that is maybe creating space with an individual because we know that that individual no longer fits the experience we want to have. It doesn't feel good, it doesn't honor us, and yet because it's familiar, when things feel hard and scary in our worlds, we go back to that individual seeking solace because it's what we know. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that. We all get to have the experience we choose in this life, but it makes it challenging for you in the space of expansion. And it also can cause you to get caught up in that cyclic behavior, those old patterns of behavior, those old self-doubts, those old belief systems, because you're in this messy middle. And because it feels scary, you just go back to what you know. And so I really encourage people, growth is uncomfortable, It just is. I'm constantly being pushed and stretched and challenged beyond my understanding, beyond what feels physically comfortable for me. And yet that is where I learn one myself, I learn truth, and I really have come to understand that we are limitless energy that can co-create anything we want. I can't do that when I stay stuck in familiar experiences, stay in a marriage that doesn't fill my heart, or an old belief system that doesn't align with where I want to go. So it's something I really would encourage people to consider is, where are you abandoning yourself? Where you are letting yourself go back to what's comfortable just because it's what you know, rather than step into the unknown to potentially see a different experience for yourself, have new challenges and growth and expansion.
Wonderful. Yeah, observe that. I mean, you're 100%. I see that too. In one point of my life, I was in that space, and now it's more of a realization that everything is different every day for me, every second, every minute. Everything changes, and it's the mind that likes to play old stories and narratives and other things like that. It's almost like I'm going back in time and I'm bringing it to the present. So usually when I catch myself, I just go like, "Oh, that's old. That's and I'm not even entertaining those stories anymore." So yeah, but you 100%.
But
That's yeah.
I
Go
would
ahead.
add, expansion it can feel unknown and unfamiliar, but there's also, I guess, the best expression I can give to the listening audience is, when you do something hard, but the minute you do it because it feels like the right thing to do, it's a weight off your shoulder. It's like peace, like this
Mm.
instantaneous freedom, having a tough conversation, leaving a job that doesn't serve you, whatever the case is. That's the experience that you can come to feel, even if it's unfamiliar, when you give yourself that permission. But when you keep going back to what is familiar for the sake of comfort, it's contraction. You feel denser in energy. It sits in your body. Your body responds to that equally. And so if if what we're saying feels very unfamiliar, or you don't necessarily relate to it, ask yourself how your body responds, to whatever it is, whatever situation you're choosing for yourself, because it will tell you. Even if your mind is saying it's scary, your body will let you know, yep, this is unfamiliar, but keep going. It's worth it. It will work out for you. It's peaceful.
I mean, that's without saying it. Well, maybe not for everyone, but when you start trusting that everything it's okay, everything it's okay, and you trust your inner knowing that what has to happen happens the way it's supposed to happen. Um, and I apply that in different situations when I'm maybe running late and I'm stuck in traffic and I know where I'm supposed to be when I'm supposed to be. And then all that pressure of like going to wherever I'm supposed to go just falls off and everything works out. Person it's also stuck in traffic and we kind of sink in time. So no stress or anything. I know that's not like the example you're looking for, because you're talking about more dramatic, I guess, ways how things unfold for people. But this is what I come up with.
Well, not necessarily. Anything can feel unfamiliar, like learning to write with my left hand, or you and I off camera were talking about me learning how to use mixing equipment and you learning a new video
Right.
device, right? It's unfamiliar.
Right.
And yet so often when it feels hard, I see people go back to what they know rather than give themselves permission to be in that messy middle, that uncomfortable, unsettled learning experience, you know? The other
Yeah.
thing that you brought up that I want to touch upon is you and I, our consciousness level, we understand that everything really is unfolding in divine perfection. Like, I know that. So when I watch my daughter go through something, I know that. However, her understanding and mine are very different. And so if I'm just like, well, everything's going to work out great, babe, for you while she's in the middle of a crisis, that can feel really like I'm not honoring her experience. And the reason I bring that up is because I was talking to an individual yesterday who had that same approach with their significant other, and it created a lot of dissonance. And so we're better off just holding space and not saying anything at all
That's
because,
exactly what I was gonna say. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Because
yeah,
if you can hold that vibration of like I feel you and you have that connection with somebody. I even watched somebody that I watched a video of somebody doing like a eye gazing thing in the park where he just sits and people come in and sit and they just stare at each other's eyes without talking about anything, and you
yeah,
just practically share space, and you can see how that, because it's quiet, when the mind quiets, how that steers different emotion in different people. And just having that other person sitting with you and sharing that space with you, it's good enough in that moment and
yeah.
unfolds beautiful. You don't have to say anything.
Well, even more than that, though, we can do more harm than good, right? If somebody we care for feels dismissed, and that's usually how they perceive it, or some kind of, oh, you don't understand what I'm going through, whatever, by us saying, oh, well, everything's working out for the highest good, don't worry about it, it's great, they're gonna be like, this bastard. And so, for me, I really do, I witness, my daughters are great opportunities for me to really watch when my ego comes up and wants to fix it or make up a story, but I just observe, and I not only observe her, but I also observe what is coming up internally for me, because it's always a mirror reflection, and what is it that I can honor within my little girl
That's right.
self and let go.
That's right. That's right.
Yep.
I mean, everything. It's exciting. It's a one big stage that we play, and we get to play it the way we want to play it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
it's wonderful. You know what brings the joy for me is that unknown, because if I know how next moment it's gonna unfold, it's not gonna be exciting, because like you're gonna know how it's like watching a movie that you've already seen. You know how it's gonna end. There's no mystery, there's no excitement, there's nothing in that moment. So it might be something that it's like really traumatic that it's unfolding, and sometimes I just kind of step back and I go like, okay, this is going on, obviously I'm in the middle of it, let's see what's gonna come out. Or I just go like, whoa, that was kind of strange.
Well, it's interesting because I mean, you speak to, it does get boring, and as you've shared in the past as well, in a bliss state, like you're in perfect euphoria, like you're just in, but
Mm.
it gets boring, right? Like I can sit in myself in a chair and be like, "Woo!" But then I'm like, well, this is boring. What do I want to do right now? And then I just go do something else. It can
There you
get
go.
very,
And
very
you
boring.
create. That's how you create your reality. And you create it from spontaneity in that moment. Whatever moves you, even like, doing something that might be strange, it could be fun to you. So why
Yeah.
not do it? Enjoy the
Or
moment.
talking in tongue or some random language like
There,
Nana
there,
did to
there you
me today.
go. There you
Yeah.
go.
But,
You
here's the thing that I really encourage our listening audience to consider. The minute we decide we know something, we close off our brain from getting information that contradicts that belief, right? And so for anybody who's listening and this feels really hard to accept or there's resistance, first off, get curious about the resistance. Why are you why is there resistance? Because the very permission to ask why there's resistance is opening up your consciousness to deeper understanding. But then even going further than that, if you literally just say, I suspend everything I think I know and I'm open to the highest good for all, you've opened up your mind to infinite wisdom because you haven't told your mind that you know something and closed off other forms of information, other understandings. And so if the listening audience wants to play with this and try this, I encourage you, don't listen to me and Yanko. We are huge proponents of don't believe anything. That's why I'm not big into religion and all this dogma, because you're led to believe that you have to follow a certain set of practices, whatever, to have this connection with creation. And you don't. You just have to give yourself permission to let go of what is familiar and known and open to infinite everything. And then it gets really wild, as Yanko could attest to, because it's a wild ride, baby. If we
It
really
is it is
possibility, let me
interesting.
just tell you, infinite is exactly that. It's infinite.
The way I can describe it is a if you thought that you have like a color picture or and it's like really good, it's like jumping from 1080 to 4K to 6K. You know, it gets more exciting and more exciting and more color and more joy and more fun in any way it's possible.
100%. Like I, I always the first time I saw like the trees and the rocks and the grass vibrating and like looking near, I was like, wow. And I'm not even on drugs. And look, it was a time when I would have taken drugs to feel that experience, just saying. Um, no, but it's true. Like it really is. There's just infinite possibility when you give yourself permission. And it's so funny because I continue to just observe people won't give themselves permission. They would rather stay in what's familiar and known
Yep.
than suspend what they think they know and have a new experience, whether it's from religious ideology, family belief systems, the cultural structure of how you have to make money, all of that. It's so embedded. And I do understand, epigenetics plays a part in it, that it is a collective consciousness. So giving yourself permission actually forces you to break the collective consciousness, because a belief is only as strong as the collective people subscribing to that belief. Um, but the reality is we as spirits are meant for expansion. So what happens is you end up suffering because you were never meant to stay subscribed to the systems and the ideologies that you've been brought up in, that we all bought into at some point. And so it really is worth giving yourself permission and see how it goes. The proof is in the pudding and the experience.
Yeah, not that it's bad. I think you have to experience both ends of the thing to be able to discern and have that discernment and to take the experience out of it. So if you don't learn a language or if you don't get programmed, then you're not gonna have um, you know, the fun to see the one side and the other side. So I think ultimately everything plays a part in its and this is why I'm starting to understand when people say everything is perfect the way it is, because everything is necessary for the one thing to exist. The
100%.
opposite and the duality has to exist as well. And then people say, well, there is so many things happening through the world, and this is horrible, and this and that, and you're telling me everything is perfect. Like, are you nuts? Like, how this could be a perfect thing? But just how the duality is set up.
Well,
to give you that.
moreover, let's talk about suffering is a prelude to deeper levels of consciousness. And so that's why
Right.
exactly where you stand, I think of Khalil Gibran's quote, just as he crowns you with love, so does he crucify you. And that is just a prolifically prominent quote because it's real. And that if we don't suffer, what is going to cause us to push ourselves outside of what's familiar to experience something new? Hey, beautiful Remy, thank you for joining us from the Middle East. We appreciate your beautiful self. If you have any thoughts, please feel free to share. Right. So, yes, in that respect. And also, I mean, and this is particularly hard for a lot of people that I do life with to understand is, we're watching the collective consciousness kind of like fold up around the unconscious. Right. So you see the old paradigms crumbling and it feels really scary. But you and I are in touch with people who vibrate at very high levels of energy that are much more powerful in their state because unconditional love vibrates at a massively more powerful state than fear, and we're just wrapping around the collective known, and eventually you're just going to see it all crumble. Now, does that mean that people who are starting to shift in consciousness won't suffer? No, like, because you have to have your journey into that expansiveness, but there'll be enough people who have already done it to be able to be like, it's a ride, it's gonna feel like hell, but keep moving forward, keep giving yourself permission, because you'll experience the very things you and I share with everybody every week about limitlessness, about manifesting whatever the fuck you want anytime you want.
And that goes back to that everything happens in the consciousness, like
Yep.
your dreams and everything. It's malleable and changes, even so it looks like it's this or that or this other thing.
And look, for the listening audience, the reality is I'm constantly working on old beliefs. There are embedded beliefs that are pervasive within my ancestors that still create resistance in my own human experience. And instead of judging them or being like, oh, I'm not manifesting this or this, I keep getting curious. I keep letting go. And there's a beautiful book by Dr. David R. Hawkins called Letting Go, A Pathway to Surrender. And so it's just a continued practice. It's gradual. You open up into those experiences. And then sometimes it feels like contraction. So you open up and then you contract and then you open up further and then you contract. So it's not one straight line. And that's why, the symbol for infinity, I mean, enlightenment is like a wiggle, wiggle, ziggle, wiggle, wiggle, because there's no set of stairs that you take that's just a direct path. It's all over the
Yeah.
place. So give yourself
you have
grace.
you have the ups and downs and everything happens. And again, that goes back to the duality of the world. Why do we have equal parts of day and night? And the one
Day and
goes
night.
with the other.
I toss
Yeah.
and turn. I can't sleep at night. Okay, shout out.
There you
That's not
go.
my song. That is Big Buddy. Just the FYI.
uh,
I gotta break up the conversation for anybody who's like, whoa, this is like a lot.
no, that's just how my reality is. And there's still people that think they can talk about whatever it's in their mind with everybody, because they still have like a program that runs says, oh, the people will think I'm crazy or something. Be like, why do I care?
Well,
I create the reality.
I want to challenge you a little bit there, Yanko, because even some of my family members, if I talk to them about Kundalini or whatever, their energy zips up so fast, they're like, I don't want to fucking hear it. And if I just push that on them, that's not fair. They don't want to hear it. I have to respect that. And it takes me a practice because sometimes I want to share with loved ones, right? I do.
That's a real thing.
But
Yeah.
here's the thing. And this is why who you surround yourself with is fucking important.
Yes,
Because if you
100%.
share with people who have resistance to it, then it could make you start to question your own, the work you're doing, the growth you're experiencing, the insights you're having. And so it could go into like contraction. But instead, if you surround yourself with people who are more open-minded and more, you know, uh interested in that, well, then you don't make up that story that you are like there's something wrong with you. And I'm going to tell you right now, hands down, that is one of the many reasons Nana is my person. Because like 3 or 4 months into our relationship, I looked at him and I was like, so here's the deal. I'm going to leave my ex-husband with all our assets. I'm going to leave corporate America and start my own business. And I'm going to be a very, very wealthy multimillionaire. And the man looked at me. He's like, oh, that's super cool. Let's go eat something. Never dismissed me, never made me feel like I was crazy. And so that's the people I surround myself with, is people who are like, I don't know, but I don't not know either. And so I'm not going to give you
Right,
like this resistance.
right. Listen, people might not
I
like
am
it, um, but if I feel like I need to share, I'll share. If I feel like I need to stay in peace or in quiet, I'll be quiet. You know, a lot of times I'll let you chat and share whatever you feel like. But I'm not gonna not say something on the idea that somebody will think that I'm crazy or not crazy or anything, because I don't
Yeah, but
know.
you're
I,
self-confident, Yanko, and there are a lot of people whose identity and self-worth is wrapped up in the people's opinion of them. And so again, I agree with you. But it took me a long time to stand in my truth and not um, feel impacted by the belief of my family members or whatever. It took me a long time. And so, for anybody out there who's watching this and might be like, oh, it really is okay to not share these things. And in fact, I encourage you strongly not to, if you don't believe that you have a safe space where you are just honored, until you learn yourself enough that you get to the point where you, hello from Wisconsin. Okay, I see you. I love Thomas. He's a brilliant person too. But going back to what I was saying, like, don't, I encourage you, protect yourself in your journey. And that's why energy is shared. So for example, I could tell Yanko something and he might be like, that's great, Kerri. But I feel his energy, and in his energy, he's like, yeah, right. That's never going to happen. Well, the problem with that is we share energy. And so I will inevitably feel his belief of energy. And so this is
right.
where, again, who you surround yourself with is critical in terms of expansion and learning deeper levels of consciousness, because the average person right now operates from just habituated conditions, responses, and behaviors, and they will energetically share their consciousness with you when you're working to expand out of that experience.
I mean, the one that's gonna mix with the other, it's like mixing hot and cold water. You know, one of the energies, it's gonna overtake the other energy, and maybe the one person will leave the room or come back, or maybe you'll feel like you need to leave the room and come back, and it's how it is with the duality of things in here, which is fine. Um, but yeah.
You're hilarious. I love you so much. Yes, it's fine. And yet,
Thank you. I mean, it is fine. If you think of it in the great scheme of things, we like to put all kinds of ideas in our heads and play out different scenarios, how this thing goes. And it could get like really horrible, and you can amp up yourself and even wind yourself and be like, oh, if this happens and this next thing can happen and this other thing can happen, and then you're like already not even here, you're already someplace else.
Well, I mean, that
So
goes back to presence. And this is why you and I both speak to, I mean, the practice of breath work, I mean, will bring you back to presence. The practice of feeling into everything that you are, feeling your skin, right? Um, Feeling your butt on your seat, anything brings you back to presence. The minute
yeah,
you're in
yeah,
presence, you're at peace. But so
yeah,
often, everybody's either in their past or worried about the future. If you're in your past, you're bringing your past into this current moment, which is then creating a future very similar to your past, right? And then if you're worried about the future, you're bringing fear into the possibilities of the future. So breath work is hands down the quickest way to come back to presence. Now there's a million other tools, but for the sake of just gaining access to something quick and easy to bring you back into now and not being in your head, is just breathing, like focusing on your breath.
and again, don't take our word for it, try it.
Try it.
I dare you. Yeah.
But it's so
Although
interesting.
it's nice, it's nice if you have somebody to remind you of that. If you have like a support group or somebody that's going through the same journey as you, and they see you like you checking out or something else that's going on, they can go like, all right, just breathe, man, just breathe, and then they go like, and they come back, and it's a wonderful thing.
Well, I use breath work with my clients that I work with, physical fit. I love that.
Good on you. Yes.
That makes my heart happy. But it's we're all each other's miracles, and we can all remind each other to come back to presence. I might be in my head worried about something, and then you text me at the exact moment, and I'm like, oh yeah, I was just lost in unconsciousness for a second, but I'm back. Whoop. Which I do all the time, by the way, because that's just the nature of our brain. And breath work actually trains your brain to be singularly focused as well over time. And that's the other thing I really try to encourage people to recognize. A lot of people tell me, oh, I can't meditate. Do you know that if you are just completely absorbed in eating food, like feeling the carrot on your tongue as it crunches and goes down your throat, walking, feeling the heel touch the ground, and then feeling the toes, all of that's meditation. You don't have to sit in a chair and be like, oh, right? You can literally be present. Meditation is just a form of coming back to this moment, coming back to. And so I encourage people, work on breath work if that feels right, but don't feel like you have to tell yourself this narrative, I can't meditate. You absolutely can. And it only has to be 5 seconds and then 10 seconds, because, Rome wasn't built in a day. And what I mean by that is just have that moment of peace, and that moment will expand into 2 moments and 3 moments and so on and so forth.
Yeah, that's a good point. Let's talk about that with the concentration, because we let our minds wander all the time and nobody talked to us about it. And then I'm seeing that a lot of like a programming it's going on, not in a way that it's covert or not, but it trains your mind for your attention to flicker faster, and you train your
TikTok, all
brain.
those reels, babies, dopamine.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. You keep looking for that next exciting thing, next exciting thing, next exciting thing, and then you can concentrate in a one thought, and then that only not only affects you presence, but also affects you in every facet of life. Because if you start, for example, to go do shopping or something else, and your mind wanders, then halfway through the list or the way you going, you're going to forget what you're going to shop for because you don't have that attention span. You don't, and even with technology, we used to be able to remember phone numbers, other things like that. And now everything is in your, cell phone. You don't need to remember things. And you train your focused attention to, you're not training it, you're just like allowing it to go many different ways.
Well,
And
interestingly
so,
enough, go ahead.
yeah, go ahead.
Well, it also takes away your ability to be creative, and we are part of creation, and so we're meant to create. And what I mean by that, and I forget who, but somebody shared this, and it makes sense that more and more evidence is saying that people such as Einstein and Tesla are ceasing to exist because Einstein would just sit in his room in silence and just chill, right? There wasn't information overload. And so he had that ability to just be still. And in that, you do tap into the vast field of consciousness, guys, right? And you have the ability to create endlessly. But because we've trained our brains to clickbait, all the time, people don't get to experience that connection to be creative. That's why when I work with clients, when I work with people and they're problem solving on whatever project they're working on or whatever, I always encourage them, walk away and go play, because you are more likely to be able to create something that, one, is lasting because it's high vibrating, so it's going to be a lasting solution. But two, right, it comes from, it's called aha moments. It's like that instantaneous. You can't do that grinding out on a computer or grinding out on a problem. And so what most people do is they grind. They become so tight, condensed, contracted, that then they open their phone and they start scrolling social media because they want clickbait. They want something to numb out that feeling of contraction so
Right.
that they can somehow feel better to go back to the problem at hand. And I say, no, go. And, of course, I catch a lot of people struggle with that because it breaks this idea of the corporate 9 to 5. But who cares? If you're producing high quality products, nobody's going to care. And Nana is a perfect example of that, because Nana executes at a very high level in his career, and he plays regularly throughout the day, not just once on the weekend, but throughout the day. He sends me goofy stuff. I know he connects with all his cosplay people. It gives him the ability to bring that lighthearted, not serious energy to what he's working with in his career.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, consciousness goes where attention goes. So if your attention is scattered, then you're scattered. You're all over the place. There's nothing going on. And even to add to it, you have a given amount of energy through the day that also gets scattered through nonsense that you eventually run an empty tank. And if you're not mindful of like where you put your energy, you might empty your tank right at noon. You have nothing, run on fumes till the end of the day.
Yeah, and then what happens? You have less of the ability to be aware of your thoughts, like aware of where your mind is going. You're much more reactive because now you're just reacting because you don't have the capacity to regulate yourself real time, real moment. And so again, that's why I really encourage people, don't take Yanko's or my word as a law. Put it into practice, because the proof is in the pudding, literally. But this is the other thing, to your point about, clickbait, our minds go. People quick fix. And to train your mind to work for you, it takes work. It takes discipline, which is called
Yeah.
devotion to self in my mind. Devotion to self. I
Yeah.
wake up every day and my non-negotiables are connecting with spirit, reading scriptures, working out every day, because I know that in doing that, I'm setting myself up to create a space for my brain to be focused on what it is I desire to create rather than just be sloppy and have whatever experience comes into my field of awareness.
Yeah. Well, that's why you gotta take care of the Trinity, mind, body, spirit. You know, you have to allow it. You have to find the balance to give the body enough attention to sustain you through this, so that it's healthy, has nutritions and food. Then also lift the spirit with some creating,
And
creative expression,
singing or
something singing.
coloring or talking
Yes,
to an amazing
mixing
friend.
music, whatever, live streaming. um, and yeah, and then nurture your mind too. Give it some food. Read some good books. Give it some good information, something to chew on, instead of filling it with all kinds of other things. Because the mind gets filled the same way the body gets filled. If you're not mindful of what you're consuming, it's like food. Are you consuming shows? Are you consuming, soap operas or whatever you're doing? Like, what are you filling your mind with?
It's true. I watch people in my life who their life is constant drama, and I love them. I mean, they're the best. But then I listen to what they're watching, and I'm like, oh my god! And guys, here's the thing: your brain is a supercomputer. It's like it's completely empty right off the factory conveyor belt, right when you're born, and then it starts getting programmed. And then you make up these beliefs based on experiences, not true beliefs, just beliefs based on whatever came up for you. And now you are a byproduct of all of those experiences up into this point. To Yanko's point, it's not good or bad. However, if you are experiencing a life that feels unfulfilling, that you struggle with depression, anxiety, lack of connection, lack of community, whatever, then it is your responsibility, and you are truly the only person who can pull yourself out of that. But it does take work, and it's why I'm a coach, not a therapist, because I check in with people. Hey, are you following through on the commitment you made to yourself? Because the other part of this, guys, is it takes training. You don't have to do it all in one sweep. Do a tiny thing. And what that does is it builds this little part in your brain, the mid-cingulate cortex, which is responsible for willpower and resilience. And it's just weak. It's like a bicep muscle. It's no biggie. Nobody taught you how to train it. So cool. You get sloppy on your commitments to yourself. It doesn't make you bad, doesn't make you good. It's just that's how our brain works. But then you have a responsibility with that information, if you want to have a new experience, to do something differently and do the work to achieve the result that you're looking for.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, ultimately, there's no other way, because we're in the duality. If you feel like you contracting, you're gonna get to an amazing expansion. That's gonna feel like whoa. um,
Wait, what do you mean by that?
I mean, we're always swing one way or the other. We swing to the extreme, and then on one point or another, we're gonna swing back and experience the other side. So if you're contracting at one point or another, something's gonna change and flip inside you, and you're gonna go the other direction, and that'll feel like whoa.
Well, I mean, think about it. If that's what I encourage people to consider, right? Like, if you're unhappy and you know that we're meant for expansion, if you know nothing but that, right? And even if this feels woo woo, look at the universe. Science is proving it's continuously expanding, right? And we're part of nature. So inherently, science speaks the truth about we're meant for expansion. If you resist that pull to expand, what will inevitably happen is the universe will intervene. You'll be diagnosed with an illness. you'll be in a car crash, you'll be laid off your job, you'll whatever the case is, to get you to shake. And more often than not, I see people use those gifts, right, as a reason to feel victimized in life. And I strongly encourage you to look at it for what it is. And it's a gift, it's an opportunity to really examine the choices you're making and consider making different ones.
Even if you sit and you marinate in your life choices. I mean, and now, because before I haven't done that, and I haven't done it recently, but there was a point when I was just like sitting in silence and seeing what's coming up, different stories, different experiences, even going back to childhood. And everything happened for a reason. I had those experiences, so I know what that is like, to be able to discern and have the polarity, to have the one side and the other side of the experiences. So even if I have a chance to go back in time and change something, I won't change a thing.
Me
That's what
neither.
I'm gonna say.
Nana
It's
asked me a
just
couple
like
weeks ago on our show, if you could go back and tell your little self anything, what would it be? And I said a big fat nothing. Nothing, honey, because I absolutely love who I am. Like, seriously, I'm my favorite person. I was telling my cousins the other day, I could get lost in the woods and disappear, and people would be looking for me and be like, Kerri went into, because I really enjoy myself. And to your point, Yanko, I never know what I'm going to experience. I could be happy as a clam and then all of a sudden be overcome with sadness. And then I'm outside playing with the grass. And right, I just love myself and who I am as a result of everything I've experienced. And so I have deep appreciation and gratitude for even the deepest moments of suffering, because it's allowed me to get to the space of real unconditional love, which is a very, very high vibrational energy.
yeah. I won't even care. That's what I was thinking. I won't even care if I get lost in the woods and nobody comes looking for me.
Yesterday, I was laying down and there's ants crawling over me. I got bit by one and stuff, and I'm like, this is cool. And then a bumblebee came and said hi to me. He's just like hovering over me, and I'm like, I love you so much. Thank you.
You don't know what you don't know. Like, you love to say that. Sometimes I go on experiences. Something happens. I have a plan for the day, and that's why I like to say that the map is not the territory. And then I'll get a phone call. Something's gonna happen. It's gonna shift the whole plan. Everything's gonna go off plan. But then after everything finish, and the end of the day, when I look it up, I see that it went directly how it's supposed to happen. Not
Yep.
not with my plan, but it unfolded beautifully. So, in you don't know what you don't know.
Well, that's right. It's interesting because, there is a degree of training that I do with regards to people I work with and stuff. And one of the things I make damn sure I work with them on understanding is they could cancel a meeting with me a second before we were due for it. And I am completely unbothered. And it's true because it's perfect. It's whatever. Like, who knows what I'm going to end up doing, because they gave me the gift of that experience. And then I can give them a gift at another time. And in doing that, I also hope to impart that practice for them, because flow is a real thing. And, the greatest teacher is a river. When it goes and it's just flowing, it's cooling it. But when we start creating dams and we keep trying to force it to do something different, it eventually goes over and makes a whole hot mess. And that's what we do in our everyday life when we resist the things that come up for us, when we're stuck in traffic because of a car accident and stuff. We have this anxious energy and it's just building and then building and then building, and something else. Your coffee was made wrong at Dunkin' Donuts, and then you go into work and your boss calls you in, and all of a sudden instead of just being like, okay, I'm gonna jam out to this song. I'm gonna go get a coffee from another shop. I'm gonna roll in, and it's all good. It's all gravy, baby.
Again, you don't know what you don't know. Like, I don't have to tell you how many times I'll be going somewhere and I forget to grab my coffee, and I'd be like, damn, I'm not gonna have a coffee when I get to the destination. They'll have the coffee, donuts, something for me. I'll be like, okay, I have it. And then I have to get out of my way to get it. It's there.
100%. It's the other day, no bullshit. Literally halfway through the day, I'm like, man, I could really go for this pizza that I'm obsessed with. Totally like not good for me, but I don't care. It's good. It's good because it makes my heart happy. Anyway, later on, my
Not
brother-in-law
good
goes
for
to
me.
me, he's like, pizza? And
Not
I'm
good for
like,
me, but good for me. Yeah.
oh, hell yeah. And then later on, my twin sister goes, after we go for a hike, I need to go grab food. And I was like, pizza? I
Yes.
never had. I'm like, and that's the thing is when you go with the flow, it will all work out as it's meant to, But again, it's a practice. And I really want to reinstate, guys, or reemphasize. I struggled with severe depression and anxiety and addiction for decades, 30 plus years. Okay. So I really understand where this can feel obscure or very hard to believe, and that's okay, because that even in the Bible it says plant seeds, right? What you sow you shall reap. Like, you don't have to believe it. It's still information that you're holding space for receiving because you're watching this show. And just give yourself permission to suspend what you think and let it unfold instead of judging it right or wrong, good or bad. Just say, you know what, I don't know, and I'm open to a new experience. And then you're literally giving your mind this powerful tool, permission to give you entirely new experiences that can be indescribable and unknown until you have that experience for yourself.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's it. I got nothing more. I got nothing more to share with the audience. So here
Well,
we
you do.
go.
You have
Sing
your
the
beautiful
tune
voice
with
with the
Paul,
song.
letting you know it's time to go. But next week, episode 108. And until then, I hope you're great. And if it feels hard, just know that me and Yanko care. We hope you open up your heart space and you'll always be there. There you go.
I like how you come up with the rhymes with 108. Yeah, great.
Well, you know why? Let's share with the listening audience. Much like you, I don't have an expectation of what is to unfold. There's no, oh my God, the audience is going to judge me because I'm not a professional singer and I don't rap it. Oh my gosh. And so when you just allow yourself to be present in this moment, you flow and things just come.
Things just happen.
Things just
Because
happen.
that's just the reality of the world. It's a
Israel
one
God is
happening.
here.
It's a one happening. Thank you, Nelly. She says, bravo. There you go. Thank you, Nelly. We love that you stop by and exchange
Yes, me
energies with us.
too. And I learned a Bulgarian word. So how do you pronounce it now?
Bravo.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
it's bravo. It's just with a different letters.
Okay. Well, there you go. All right, guys. Until next time, peace and chicken grease.
Bye, guys. We'll see you next Friday.